Suspicion ran rampant on the Friday, October 3rd episode of General Hospital. Anna had some pointed questions for Carly. Michael wondered why it was so important for Tracy that she protect him, and Spinelli felt something was off when he brought James to meet Nathan. Meanwhile, Ava came to Alexis's rescue when Rick attacked her, and Sonny made a new friend in Monica's sister, Ronnie. Read on for all the details. At the hospital, Elizabeth handed Molly an envelope of papers that the DA was waiting for, then asked if she'd heard from Rick. Both agreed they were shocked he lasted so long on his digital detox without breaking the rules and contacting one of them. Settling down in her living room with a tray of tea, Alexis chatted with her assistant, Suzanne, on the phone about the next day's schedule while Rick skulked around the corner. Waiting until Alexis laid down on the couch, Rick approached her from behind, putting Helena's dagger to her throat. When Rick demanded that she call the cops and confessed to holding him hostage, Alexis reminded him that if she called the police, they would all go down for committing crimes, including him. Cornering Alexis against the fireplace mantel, Rick insisted that she call Elizabeth on speakerphone. Just as the call connected, Ava stormed over and threw hot water in Rick's face, causing him to scream out in pain and fall to the floor. Quickly disconnecting the call, Alexis fired off a text. Liz heard a scream in the background before the line went dead. Then immediately after, the text came through from Alexis, in which she claimed her call had been an accident. When Liz swore she'd heard Rick's voice, Molly chuckled. "You think my dad ditched his detox and came back to Port Charles without a word to either of us so that he could meet up with my mom?" After Molly left, Liz left Rick a message, asking him if he was back in town. Back in Alexis's living room, Rick tried to stand up, but Ava hit him in the face with a serving tray and knocked him unconscious. As they returned Rick to his basement prison, Alexis noted that he'd seemed very lucid for a guy who'd been drugged up for weeks, and Ava wondered how he'd freed himself to begin with. Poking around the bed, Ava found the collection of pills Rick had spit out, hiding under the mattress. Making sure Rick didn't escape again, Ava restrained him to the bed with handcuffs instead of using duct tape again. When Rick came to, he freaked out that he was cuffed to the bed, and Ava called him a greedy ass for trying to one-up Alexis instead of making a clean escape. Laughing off Rick's complaint that it was inhumane for them to keep him locked up, Alexis dryly apologized for not offering the same amenities in her basement as he'd had in the panic room he built to stash Carly in. Telling him that he only had to wait another 10 days before they set him free, the ladies forced a sedative down his throat, and Alexis gagged him before leaving him alone once again. Elsewhere at the hospital, Nathan was reading a Port Charles Press article on a tablet about his shooting as Felicia, James, and Spinelli ran into Obrecht and Britt in the hallway. While Liesl was thrilled to introduce her grandson to Nathan, an uneasy Britt sent James to the vending machine and then attempted to delay the reunion by questioning if Maxie would be okay with James meeting Nathan. Felicia replied that she and Spinelli had considered Maxie's feelings, but they didn't think they could deny James the opportunity to get to know his dad. Britt managed to convince Felicia and Spinelli to hold off on any introductions until they met with a child therapist first, but when they looked for James to break the news to him, they couldn't find him. Unbeknownst to the adults, James had wandered into Nathan's room. The little boy offered to share a drink with his dad, but wasn't sure whether Nathan liked orange or grape soda. Determining that orange and grape were both their favorite soda, Nathan and James toasted to having something in common. When the other adults found James in Nathan's room, Britt appeared concerned. Felicia and Liesl beamed at the sight of father and son sharing drinks, and Spinelli seemed upset to see the boy connecting with his biological dad. Noticing Spinelli's unease, Felicia followed him out into the hallway, where he admitted that he was jealous since he'd been James's de facto father for the boy's entire life. "I'm sure it's just the green-eyed monster talking, but something feels very wrong," Spinelli mused. Reprimanded by Elizabeth for leaving the ER, Britt fumed that she was dealing with a family situation since her nephew just met his back-from-the-dead father. She invited the head nurse to fire her. Softening, Liz gave Britt a pass, but requested that she let her know next time she needed an extended break. Next, from her post outside Nathan's door, Britt watched Spinelli and Felicia talking, then turned back to peer inside the hospital room, uncomfortable with the bonding between Liesl, James, and Nathan. Michael found Tracy at the crypt, where she complained about the hornet's nest that she was left to deal with in protecting him from an attempted murder charge. When Michael pointed out that he had an alibi, Tracy retorted that it was a weak one, considering Jacinda had an unsavory history with the victim. Plus, Tracy reminded him, she could place him outside of Drew's house at the time of the shooting. Then, Michael explained that he'd gone to confront Drew, but as he stood in the pouring rain, he'd changed his mind and left. "I can't tell if you're lying," she chided, adding that she didn't care whether Michael was actually guilty of shooting Drew or not, just that he remained a free man. When Michael wondered why she was trying to protect him, especially since if he went to jail, her immediate descendants could secure leadership roles at the company, Tracy revealed it was about honoring Monica. "Michael, she wouldn't want anything to happen to you, so it's my job, no, it's my duty, to see that nothing does," she vowed. Michael then expressed his gratitude for all Tracy does for the family, and she said she hoped that when he inherited Monica's house, he would allow her to continue residing there. "This will soon be your house, but it will always be my home," she softly confided. While paying his respects to Monica at the GH Memorial Wall, Sonny encountered Monica's sister, Ronnie. Learning he was Michael's adoptive father, Ronnie declared she wasn't going to let Tracy stop her from getting to know Monica's grandson. She recounted her prickly run-in with the matriarch at the Quartermain crypt, and they agreed Tracy was an entitled snob. Later, Sonny introduced Ronnie, a veteran waitress, to Bobby's, and she was impressed by the local diner. Over lunch, they commiserated over their regret for time lost during estrangements with loved ones. Ronnie was happy to learn from Sonny that, according to Michael, Monica was happy with her life toward the end and had died peacefully. Back in her hotel room at the Metro Court, Ronnie received a phone call and accepted an invitation from the person on the other end. "Well," she smiled to herself, "this should be interesting." Anna called Carly in for a follow-up meeting to go over the points of Michael's statement that intersected with his mother's. Anna brought up the phone call between mother and son from that night, and Carly flashed back to their conversation. She'd informed him that Willow had gone back to Drew and urged him not to cave to Drew's threats. "Drew's making a lot of assumptions about what he can control," a steely Michael had replied. "He has no idea how quick circumstances can change for him." Returning to her present conversation, Carly brushed off that phone call as nothing out of the ordinary. Without alerting Carly that she was now on the suspect list, Anna pressed on about how Carly's relationship with Monica had changed over the years, and if she was welcome at the Quartermain estate. "Except for Tracy, she was welcome at the Q's anytime," confirmed Carly. Suspicious of Anna's questions, Carly accused the police commissioner of trying to pin Drew's shooting on the obvious suspect, but Anna asserted that her job was to investigate all potential suspects. After Carly again insisted that her son was not a killer, Anna suggested that Claudia Zaccara would beg to differ. Carly took offense to that remark, since Michael had been protecting her and his sister, eliciting a rebuttal from Anna that she knew Carly would do anything to protect her son as well. At that, Carly stormed out, slamming the door. Once out in the hallway, she closed her eyes and shook her head before leaving. Later, Molly arrived at Anna's office, and the commissioner shared that the ballistics report showed that the 2 bullets removed from Drew matched a gun that was in the system belonging to Edward Quartermain's collection. Anna shared her theory that Carly and Michael would have been among those with access to the gun, and they both had flimsy alibis. Then, Molly shared that when she and Christina had visited Michael earlier that day to offer their condolences, Jacinda was there for the same reason, and she had a hunch that he'd orchestrated the situation for her benefit to strengthen his alibi. Establishing that Michael had the means, motive, and opportunity, Anna mused that put him at the top of the suspect list, right next to Carly. Molly and Anna determined that while they still had to wait for a search warrant to get the gun, if forensics could tie the weapon to either Carly or Michael, it would be enough to make an arrest. Meeting up with Sonny at Bobby's, Carly shared that she'd just returned from the PCPD, and based on Anna's questioning, she believes they're looking at Michael as the prime suspect in Drew's shooting. Fearing she accidentally gave something away since Anna already had Michael's phone records, Carly revealed to Sonny that she'd given Michael the perfect motive during a phone call when she told him that Willow was going back to Drew. Carly added that Anna's line of questioning included how she and Monica had mended fences and how frequently she was at the Quartermains, and Sonny pieced together that the commissioner probably didn't buy Carly's alibi that she was with Jack that night any more than he did. "Anna knows you would kill for Michael," he deduced. "And so do I. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching." So let's dive into today's video. General Hospital spoilers hint that Jason Morgan has been undergoing a character evolution lately, so GH fans have been praising his softer, Quartermain transformation. After Sam McCall's demise, Jason stepped up as a father and has been there for Danny Morgan in a more supportive parental role. That includes when he put Danny first by moving in the Quartermain mansion with him. Jason has always had a softer side, but it definitely feels like we're seeing a lot more of it these days. Although Jason still gets heroic moments like the ones he had in Croatia, he's getting plenty of sweet and sensitive scenes too. The timing is perfect considering Jason and Britt Westbourne should be headed back into romantic territory soon. Jason is tearing down Britt's walls and will continue to do so in the coming weeks. Of course, Jason may always have the ability to go stone cold when the need arises, but it's been nice to see a more layered version of him. Monica Quartermain's demise has certainly brought multiple chances for Jason to turn on the waterworks and show just how much he loved his dear mother. Jason may not be a super touchy-feely guy, but he's got a sentimental side that comes out in the right circumstances. Although Jason doesn't have his old Quartermain memories, he's established himself as a true member of the family anyway. Even Tracy Quartermain has grown more accepting of Jason and has bonded with him over the painful loss of Monica. Since the show has leaned away from mob drama lately, Jason feels less connected to Sonny Corinthos at the moment. Jason is also keeping secrets from Carly Spencer about Jocelyn Jax's WSB status, so there's some emotional distance between them, even if Carly doesn't realize it yet. Jason will always love Sonny and Carly, but the show's finding ways to give Jason an identity outside of them. That's been a good thing as far as many fans are concerned, so let's hope the trend continues. General Hospital spoilers say Jason may have even more character updates ahead, so stick with us for more news on his future. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, October 6th reveal that Jason Morgan will question Britt Westbourne's motives while Portia Robinson has a dizzy spell. Jocelyn Jax will also face a homecoming mess, so here's what GH fans can look forward to. First, on Monday's episode, Carly Spencer won't be able to shake the feeling that she said something wrong during her conversation with Anna Devane, so she'll voice her fears to Jack Brennan. Meanwhile, Britt will return from a shower and find Jason in her room, so she'll force him to hand over his key and establish some boundaries. Jason will eventually quiz Britt about why she didn't want James West to meet his dad, so Britt will act like she was protecting both James and Nathan West. Since Jason will buy Britt's claims and hype her up as a good person, Britt will feel guilty since the truth is far more complicated. As for Jocelyn, she'll come back home and have to sell her Australia cover story again. Jocelyn will lie as she catches up with Carly, but she'll be thrown for a loop when Britt suddenly appears. That'll force Jocelyn to pretend she's just now finding out about Britt's miraculous comeback. Jocelyn will stammer out a "thank you for saving her life" and hope that Britt doesn't spill anything to Carly about Croatia or her WSB status. Britt will keep Jocelyn's secrets under wraps for now, but Jocelyn will ultimately grow more concerned about Jason potentially breaking his promise. Jason may not be willing to keep quiet forever, so Jocelyn will have to be prepared for that possibility. Next, Alexis Davis will warn Curtis Ashford that the police are closing in, so she'll think he needs to protect himself. Curtis will also have a run-in with Isaiah Gannon at the hospital later, so they'll be gearing up for a confrontation. As for Portia, she'll have a dizzy spell in her office. Elizabeth Baldwin will help Portia sit down and grow concerned about her on Monday's show. GH writers are laying the groundwork for Portia's upcoming pregnancy storyline, so it's not surprising that the baby hints are already starting up. Across town, Drew will burn with anger since he'll be left out of Monica Quartermain's will. It'll just add to Drew's desire to get revenge on the Quartermain clan. As for Veronica Ronnie Bard, she'll show up on the Quartermain mansion doorstep and let Ned Quartermain know she's there for the will reading. That will reading will end with some wild news, since it'll be revealed that Monica supposedly left the house to Ronnie, not Michael Corinthos like Tracy was anticipating. General Hospital spoilers hint that Martin Gray could be behind some will trickery, so stay tuned for updates on where this storyline is headed next. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Nathan West may want custody of James West ASAP. Britt Westbourne may totally flip out if that's the case. So let's discuss this tricky situation. Although Britt tried her best to keep Nathan and James apart, she wasn't able to stop their first meeting. James and Nathan bonded over some sodas in Nathan's hospital room, so they're already getting along splendidly. That would be good news if everything was on the up and up, but it obviously isn't. Britt is practically in panic mode, so she clearly knows things aren't as they seem when it comes to this returned version of Nathan. Of course, the show hasn't revealed yet what exactly is going on here. Whether we're dealing with memory mapping drama, brainwashing, or another shady explanation, there must be a reason for Britt's behavior. Regardless, the point is that Nathan is shady and probably shouldn't be raising this innocent little boy. Nevertheless, that's presumably what Nathan will want to do now that he's met James and connected with him. With Maxie Jones off receiving long-term coma care, Nathan may plan to step up and be James's primary parent. During the week of October 6-10, Nathan will make a bold announcement, one that could leave Britt reeling. Will Nathan announce that he's getting a place of his own and that he wants James to move in with him as soon as possible? James might be all for it, but Damian Spinelli will certainly have reservations. Spinelli already confessed to feeling like something was very wrong at the hospital. Although Spinelli's jealousy is part of the problem, there's something else that he can't quite put his finger on. In other words, Spinelli's inner alarm bells are already going off and will blare even harder if Nathan wants to rip James out of his family home immediately. James has a happy life with his siblings and is anxiously awaiting Maxie's return. But Nathan may insist James could come live with him full-time instead. General Hospital spoilers say Nathan may waste no time in seeking James' custody following his GH release, so we'll pass along updates on all the trouble to come. General Hospital recap for Friday, October 3rd, reveals that Damian Spinelli had a creepy Nathan West feeling while Rick Lansing screamed on a phone call to Elizabeth Baldwin. At GH, Veronica Ronnie Bard found Sonny Corinthos gazing at Monica Quartermain's photo on the memorial wall. Although Sonny wouldn't call them friends, he hinted about admiring and respecting Monica. Ronnie introduced herself as Monica's sister and complained about Tracy Quartermain blocking her from meeting Michael Corinthos. Sonny agreed about Tracy being a snob and took Ronnie to Bobby's for a meal soon after. Once Ronnie and Sonny's bonding time was over, she wound up back in her hotel room and got an intriguing phone call. Ronnie confirmed she'd be there, presumably meaning Monica's will reading, and smiled as she predicted this would be interesting. Back at the hospital, Britt Westbourne sent James West off to the soda machine while she spoke with Spinelli, Liesl Obrecht, and Felicia Scorpio. Britt argued they should consult a child therapist and wait before letting James see Nathan. However, it was too late since James got an extra soda and shared one with Nathan as he met his dad. By the time Britt and the others figured out where James was, he was having a blast with Nathan. Spinelli had to step out of the room after he watched James and Nathan connecting, so Felicia followed him with questions. Although Spinelli admitted to being jealous since he'd been James' father figure for so long, he also hinted that something just felt very wrong. Britt was visibly uneasy over Nathan and James's bonding session, but Liesl was tickled pink over her son and grandson coming together like this. At Alexis Davis' place, Rick got the upper hand by putting the dagger he found to her throat. Rick ordered Alexis to call the cops and confess to everything, but Alexis reminded him that he'd go down for what he did too. After Rick shifted his strategy, he told Alexis to call Elizabeth and put her on speakerphone. At the hospital again, Molly Lansing Davis crossed paths with Liz, so they established that neither one of them had heard from Rick. It was assumed that Rick was still on his digital detox retreat. Alexis wound up calling Elizabeth's number like Rick demanded, but Ava Jerome suddenly appeared and threw a hot beverage in his eyes. Rick screamed in pain, so Elizabeth heard him before Alexis disconnected and texted Liz to say she called accidentally. Elizabeth was weirded out and explained the situation to Molly, who was skeptical that Rick would secretly return to town and immediately seek out Alexis. Once Liz was alone, she called Rick and left a voicemail asking him if he was back in Port Charles. As for Ava, she knocked Rick out with a serving tray and helped Alexis restrain him in basements with handcuffs. Ava realized Rick hadn't been taking his sleeping pills, so she forced him to swallow this time before he was gagged. In the Quartermain crypt, Tracy called Michael out on his sketchy Jacinda Bracken alibi, but he swore he didn't actually go into Drew Kane's house that night. Michael didn't get why Tracy wanted to protect him anyway, so she admitted this was about what Monica would have wanted. Tracy planned to keep Michael out of prison and was certain he'd inherit the Quartermain mansion, so she hoped he'd let her stay there in exchange for her help. In Anna Devane's office, she questioned Carly about her phone call to Michael on the day of Drew's shooting. Carly claimed she couldn't remember what they talked about and guessed they just discussed Michael's day. In reality, Carly flashed back to her conversation with Michael and how she warned him not to surrender to Drew's blackmail over the judge bribery situation. Carly also recalled Michael's ominous comment about how fast Drew's circumstances could change. Anna also fished for information about whether Carly was welcome at the Quartermain mansion. Carly defended Michael against any shooter suspicions, but Anna pointed out that Carly would do anything to protect Michael. Afterward, Carly gave Sunny updates on her discussion with Anna and basically worried she might have said something that would backfire. Although Carly was focused on protecting Michael, Sunny seemed worried about Anna not believing Carly's alibi instead. Back in Anna's office, she told Molly about the gun used in the shooting being one tied to Edward Quartermain's collection at the Quartermain mansion, which both Michael and Carly had access to. Molly also spilled about Michael summoning her along with Christina Corinthos Davis to the Q house, where Jacinda was supposedly there to offer her condolences. It felt like a way to bolster Michael's alibi, so Anna was pensive and talked about getting a search warrant for the gun. General Hospital spoilers say Carly and Michael may have more legal drama ahead of them, so stick with us for more news on the investigation. General Hospital fans have been missing Rick Hurst over the last month, as Rick has been off-screen in Alexis' basement, spending his time drugged and on a gurney. Or at least we thought he was drugged, as did Ava and Alexis. However, Rick was putting on quite a performance, just as his portrayer did, earning him this week's Soap Central Performer of the Week honors. It's not nice to keep a man taped to a gurney in a basement for weeks while plying him with sleeping pills. We even almost felt bad for Rick, as Hurst made his predicament look so dire. But it turned out that Rick was never actually taking those sleeping pills. Instead, he did the old under-the-tongue trick and stashed them under the very hard and flimsy mattress he's been forced to lie on for weeks on end. Hurst did such a great job at playing Loopy Rick that we bought it hook, line, and sinker, just as his captors did. As soon as Ava was gone, we learned the truth because Hurst's face told us the truth, and that's all we needed. Rick was furious and exasperated, but he had a plan. That rage came pouring out as Rick held a dagger to Alexis' throat, which is a habit of Alexis's ex-husband's. Hurst put on a tour de force performance as a man who has been wronged by 3 women, after also wronging them. Rick thought he had the upper hand, but his desperation was also on full display. Ava put a stop to his antics in her typical Ava way, before she and Alexis dragged Rick down to the basement once more. But this time, they used handcuffs for the gurney. When Rick woke and saw he was right back where he started, the look on Hurst's face and the panic in his voice made us laugh out loud. We could see the fury and resignation in Rick's eyes as he was forced to swallow that pill this time. Now, Rick would really sleep, with a ball gag in his mouth, of course. We can't wait to see what Hurst does with this story next week, now that he's back in the thick of things. ABC General Hospital spoilers reveal that the long-awaited confirmation of Dylan Quartermain's return isn't just another casting shakeup. It's a seismic shift, a turning point that will alter the heart and soul of Port Charles forever. Dylan has always stood apart from the rest of the Quartermains, part of their legacy, but never truly consumed by their constant battles for power. His creative spirit, his compassion, and his distance from ELQ's ruthless boardroom wars gave him a rare purity. But now, as Monica's death leaves the Quartermaine family fractured and fighting for control, Dylan's homecoming feels both poetic and dangerous. For Tracy Quartermaine, this is the one bright light piercing through weeks of grief and chaos. Her son's return means strength, continuity, and perhaps a new weapon in her ongoing war against Veronica Ronnie Bard, the shrewd and calculating woman who has somehow managed to challenge Tracy's claim over the Quartermaine estate. But nothing in Tracy's world ever comes without a price. Monica's will, once believed to secure Tracy's place as the family matriarch, has instead thrown the Quartermaines into turmoil. Legal ambiguities, missing documents, and whispers of Monica's final wishes being altered have left Tracy blindsided. Losing control of ELQ and the mansion to someone like Ronnie isn't just humiliating, it's catastrophic. And in the middle of this storm, Dylan walks back through those gilded doors. His presence stirs everything: Tracy's pride, her grief, her hunger for control, and her buried love for her son. She sees in him not only comfort, but salvation. Yet Dylan's return also reopens wounds she would rather leave buried. He is the Quartermaine who walked away, who chose art over ambition, heart over hierarchy. Now she needs him to choose differently, because to Tracy, this isn't just about survival, it's about legacy. But Dylan has changed. The idealistic filmmaker who once fled Port Charles to escape his family's dysfunction now finds himself drawn back into it. He can feel Monica's absence the moment he steps inside the mansion, her warmth replaced by silence and suspicion. Every corner whispers of betrayal. Every glance carries an agenda. And then there's Ronnie Bard, who moves through the halls of the Quartermaine estate with unsettling confidence. She's clever, manipulative, and entirely aware of Tracy's weak spots. Ronnie knows how to weaponize charm, and she sees Dylan for what he is: a man with a conscience. The kind of man she can twist with sympathy, guilt, and just enough truth to make him question his mother. As Dylan tries to comfort Tracy, Ronnie begins her quiet game of infiltration. One moment of doubt, one misunderstanding, one emotional trigger. That's all it will take for the Quartermaine unity to crumble. Meanwhile, Tracy's old habits resurface. Love becomes strategy. Every smile conceals calculation. She's thrilled to have her son back, but beneath that joy is the expectation that he will stand by her, defend her legacy, and fight her battles, even if it means losing himself in the process. Dylan, torn between loyalty and morality, must decide whether to protect his mother or protect the part of himself that still believes in decency. His internal conflict mirrors the Quartermaine curse: love entangled with ambition, family poisoned by greed. But Dylan's return isn't just shaking up the Quartermaine household. It's reverberating across Port Charles. His reappearance catches the attention of Lulu Spencer, whose life has been a quiet struggle since waking from her coma. Once, Dylan represented freedom and laughter, the antidote to Dante's intensity and the chaos of her family name. But as old memories resurface, so do old emotions. And with those emotions comes a secret that could rock both families. Whispers suggest that during their relationship years ago, Lulu and Dylan's connection may have produced something far more lasting: a child hidden from everyone, even themselves. The possibility of a secret child sends shockwaves through Port Charles, threatening to pull Lulu into emotional territory she may not survive. For Dante, the idea of Dylan being part of Lulu's life again is unbearable. His jealousy, his pride, and his sense of family loyalty all ignite in dangerous ways. A custody battle, a broken trust, and the reawakening of old love triangles could easily spiral into tragedy. Tracy, of course, sees opportunity in the chaos. A grandchild tied to Dylan and Lulu could strengthen her grip on the Quartermaine bloodline, a new heir to protect, and perhaps to control. But even as she celebrates, her manipulation risks driving Dylan away once again. And Ronnie? She's watching all of it unfold like a master strategist. The more the Quartermaines fight among themselves, the stronger her position becomes. As the pieces fall into place, Dylan realizes he's standing at the center of a storm that threatens to consume everyone he loves. His return was meant to heal, but instead it becomes a catalyst for heartbreak. He's the son trying to save his mother, the lover trying to comfort Lulu, the man trying to hold his family together, even as it tears itself apart. In General Hospital, every homecoming carries a cost, and Dylan's may be the steepest of all. Over time, Gio has begun to accept the truth about his identity. He really is the son of Dante and Brooklyn. While their bond hasn't yet reached the full warmth of a parent-child relationship, there's been a noticeable shift in Gio's outlook. The once guarded young man is showing signs of growth and openness, a change that both Dante and Brooklyn can clearly see. In the week ahead, Gio makes a defining move. He decides to embrace the Quartermain name as a way of carving out his place in this powerful family. The choice is met with encouragement across the board, particularly from Dante and Brooklyn, who couldn't be prouder of the progress Gio has made. Elsewhere in Port Charles, Alexis finds herself in a terrifying situation that nearly turns deadly. Rick manages to escape from the basement where he had been held and quickly sets his sights on Alexis. In a chilling moment, he threatens her with a blade, but Ava arrives just in time to intervene. Ava's swift action may very well save Alexis's life, and Rick once again ends up paying the price. This harrowing encounter strengthens the unlikely alliance between Alexis and Ava, two women whose shared struggles may now bond them even further. Meanwhile, Britt is carrying the heavy burden of a dangerous secret. She knows the shocking truth about Nathan's apparent return, and it's not as simple as a miracle resurrection. All signs point to Peter somehow inhabiting Nathan's body, a development that sends shockwaves across town. Viewers will recall Peter's supposed death after his final showdown with Anna. But in the soap world, the impossible often becomes reality. If this twisted theory proves true, the biggest concern is James's safety. Could Peter, masquerading as Nathan, target the boy? The stakes have never been higher. Portia is also reeling from personal turmoil. She receives life-changing news. She's pregnant. Instead of joy, the revelation fills her with dread as she grapples with uncertainty about the baby's paternity. Her recent relationships with both Isaiah and Curtis make the situation complicated and emotionally overwhelming. As Portia wrestles with the truth, her daughter Trina finds her own source of support in Kai. She remains deeply grateful for everything he has done for her and her family, including protecting her mother by helping conceal evidence of her missteps. The bond between Trina and Kai only grows stronger, setting the stage for the couple to reunite. The week of October 6-10 promises even more fireworks when the Quartermain estate battle takes center stage. Tracy throws her weight behind Michael, determined to secure what she believes he rightfully deserves. But Ronnie isn't backing down, fighting tooth and nail to claim Munch's estate for herself. As this legal tug-of-war escalates, Drew makes his own power play, strategizing to gain control over Monica's vast fortune. In a jaw-dropping twist, Chase finally confides in Willow that Drew was the one who secretly bribed Judge Eva to hand Michael custody of the children. How will Willow react to this betrayal? Could she be driven to plot her own revenge against Drew? Port Charles may soon learn that the fallout from this revelation could be just as explosive as the secrets that came before. General Hospital star Cameron Matheson opened up about his heartbreaking struggles during a Raw podcast appearance. From divorce to family tragedies, career setbacks, and painful losses, Matheson revealed how his world has changed drastically. His story proves resilience, even in the darkest times. Cameron Matheson admitted his role as Drew Kane hasn't always been easy. He understands why fans dislike the congressman's ruthless personality. At first, even he struggled to connect with the sudden character shift. Still, he takes pride in the challenge. Unlike his All My Children character Ryan Lavery, Drew Kane is despised. Yet Matheson finds freedom in playing such a complex role. He confessed that exploring a darker side makes the acting journey exciting. While fans debate Drew, Cameron embraces the role's unpredictability. The conversation turned personal as Matheson opened up about his private battles. He shared that his marriage ended in a painful divorce. His children leaving for college also left him emotional. On top of that, his family dog passed away, adding to his grief. Cameron also lost his home to a devastating fire. The actor admitted juggling lawsuits, financial challenges, and multiple responsibilities nearly broke him. Holding back tears, he described how overwhelming it felt. Despite the heartbreak, he tries to remain grateful for what he still has. Matheson also revealed his terrifying kidney cancer journey. The life-threatening diagnosis forced him to focus on health and recovery. During this time, his mother fell ill with brain cancer. He said the back-to-back struggles left him shaken to the core. He reflected on how deeply that period tested his strength. His mother's diagnosis and eventual decline weighed heavily on him. Yet, he found courage in pushing through treatments and leaning on loved ones. The ordeal shaped his outlook on life and resilience. Even with heartbreak, Matheson remains focused on growth. He continues working at General Hospital, where fans see him daily. He also pursues his passion for health, wellness, and coaching. His new venture helps others while giving him purpose beyond acting. He admitted the hardest part was seeing his kids hurt, but he insists they are doing well, even though change hasn't been easy. Matheson said grief and anger are still present, yet gratitude keeps him steady. His message is about survival and hope. General Hospital actor Cameron Matheson has faced loss after loss, yet he continues moving forward with courage. From career hurdles to health battles, he is determined to rebuild his life. Stay tuned to Soap Opera Daily for more inspiring updates about his journey. General Hospital fans are buzzing over rumors that Josh Kelly secretly married Chloe Lanier. The Cody Bell actor finally addressed the speculation, setting the record straight while teasing his romance, on-screen chemistry, and what's next for his character on General Hospital. Josh Kelly didn't hold back when asked about the wild claim that he married Chloe Lanier. Speaking candidly in an interview, he laughed it off, calling it one of the funniest fan-made rumors he's ever heard. According to Kelly, his relatives even believed the gossip and were upset about missing his wedding. He clarified that he and Lanier are not married, at least not yet. "We are not married," Kelly said with a grin. "But if it happens, everyone will be invited." His playful response instantly won fans over, but it also fueled curiosity about the real status of their relationship. Kelly and Lanier first met through General Hospital, where she portrayed the notorious Nell Benson. Their chemistry was undeniable, and it didn't take long for fans to speculate about a real-life connection. The couple finally confirmed their relationship in 2024 during a GH fan event, delighting longtime supporters. Since then, the two have made several public appearances together, often photographed laughing and goofing around. Kelly has been open about his admiration for Lanier, praising her talent and strong work ethic. Although Nell's return remains uncertain, Kelly admitted he'd love to share scenes with her again, even joking about a Cody-Nell wedding twist on the show. While fans remained fixated on his real-life love story, Kelly is equally excited about Cody's developing romance with Molly on General Hospital. He describes their dynamic as a rom-com slow burn, something he believes daytime television has been missing. Kelly praised co-star Kristen Vaganos for her energy and warmth, saying she makes every scene feel effortless. Their storyline brings a light-hearted balance to Port Charles' usual drama, and viewers can't get enough of it. Kelly believes Cody and Molly are the refreshing couple daytime needs. Off-screen, Josh Kelly is all heart. He's been one of Chloe Lanier's biggest supporters as she pursues a new top-secret project. Though he didn't reveal details, his pride in her success was clear. He expressed how rewarding it feels to see her shine, both personally and professionally. When asked about his own future, Kelly hinted that he's open to expanding his creative horizons while staying loyal to General Hospital. He loves the balance between the romance and mischief that Cody brings to the canvas, and fans are definitely here for it. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, October 6, 2025, feature the reading of Monica's will. Expect a lot of drama at the Q House, of course. Meanwhile, it's a good bet Drew probably isn't included. That could be the reason why he suddenly finds himself on the warpath. Add that to Tracy pushing him out of the chapel at Monica's funeral, and Drew will be a mighty cranky congressman. Note: This episode was originally set to air the week of September 29th. However, due to the MLB Wildcard Series, the Chicago Cubs versus the San Diego Padres, it's now airing on Monday. For the record, the Cubs won Game 3 and are in the playoffs. Next week's biggest news is the reading of Monica's will. And according to the teasers, there will be dramatic consequences. Although that goes without saying. Anytime the cues are gathered, it's going to be dramatic. Add Monica's sister, Veronica Bard, to the mix, and the drama might reach epic proportions. Tracy and Veronica already clashed at the Quartermaine crypt. However, that friction might be nothing compared to what unfolds when the will is read, especially when the beneficiary of Monica's house is announced. If it isn't Michael, Tracy might lose her you-know-what. Meanwhile, Drew will never be able to forget Tracy shoving his wheelchair out of the chapel the day of Monica's funeral. He felt entitled to be there. Unfortunately for him, nobody else felt the same way. If he isn't invited to the reading of Monica's will, that might be the reason why Drew is on the warpath. And with Drew's anger level on high, Tracy, Michael, and the rest of the Qs might want to watch out. Jocelyn finally returns to Port Charles, fresh off an Australian interlude. Brennan advised her to stay in Australia for another week, while Vaughn headed to Port Charles to start his new position at the WSB. For weeks, Joss and Vaughn were knee-deep in the middle of the Five Poppies mission, which ultimately ended in disaster, but she has a new mission that she'll start now that she is back in town. But we're setting the countdown clock for when Joss's family finds out that Brennan recruited her for the WSB. It'll happen. It's just a matter of when. Key people know, but her mom sure doesn't. Elsewhere, Britt is thrown. This could involve the newly resurrected Nathan and whatever was going through Britt's mind when she reconnected with him at GH. There was a look on her face that read volumes. It left us wondering if that wasn't Nathan at all, despite DNA saying otherwise. So what throws her on Monday? Does she have an actual conversation with her so-called brother? The last time Portia and Isaiah were in the same vicinity, Portia tried to tell Isaiah that she wanted to resume their romance, or whatever you want to label what they had. Isaiah said he wanted to take some time to think about it. If they went down that route, it would have to be on the down low because he doesn't want to jeopardize his amazing job. Will Isaiah and Portia get on the same page this week? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.